So, ladies and gentlemen, I have Miss Doreen Buchanan. Miss Doreen Buchanan, she is the convener, the CEO of new magazine, which is the Jamaica Dashboard magazine. And a little background about her before she comes on. She's JP, and she's the CEO of Azinel Properties International, chartered real estate surveyor and chartered valuator surveyor with over 20 years experience in the built environment. And if I dare go through her CV, that would be the end of the show. So I'm going to paraphrase along the way. She's a long-standing member of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, world leading and almost respectable professional body in the built and natural environment, assessor for North America. She's responsible for maintaining and delivering of high standards at Azinel Properties International, as set out by the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. Her local and international experience, leadership skills, core values of discipline, integrity, teamwork, transparency, accountability, DITA. And also she's a member of the National Association of Realtors, NAR, member of the Real Estate Board, and she believes in the importance of ongoing training. She's a Justice of the Peace, and she is many other things. Yes, we were just skirting around the issues a bit. We didn't want to go too deep, and we didn't want to even showcase the magazine as yet. We wanted to wait for you to come on, so we were just casually setting the stage.
Yes.
And I tell you what we were speaking about, Miss Buchanan. We're speaking about a couple who launched a raffle. The raffle was for a school in St. Thomas, Richmond Gap Primary School. They're shorting about 19 tablets. But the whole connection with the diaspora, I wanted you to come in that conversation earlier, but you weren't there. It's about how the diaspora is connected in so many ways, which you'll talk about later. The fact that they are here in the UK and they are contributing to a primary school in Richmond Gap, St. Thomas.
Yes.
You know? So it is showing how much the connection, like with your magazine, which we're going to talk about, the Jamaica Dashboard magazine, how such information in that magazine can benefit us. So without further ado, I did give an opening as to who you are, so people know who you are. Tell us about the magazine and the vision behind it.
Yes. So the Jamaicans, as I said, who are overseas, they needed this forum to, voice their opinion, to see what's going on in Jamaica. Some of them have left Jamaica 20, 30 years ago. And whenever they hear about Jamaica, they said, I would prefer not to go back because I don't know what it's like there now. And they find, a lot of excuses. So this magazine is to help them to reintegrate back into the country and to build wealth, because it doesn't matter where in the world you are. If it is that you have some money, you would want to invest in the place called home where you were born. In one of the sections in the magazine, you'll see where there's a lady out of London who was born on Waltham Park Road. And she stated that she wanted a piece of land. No, the house in which she was born, she wanted us to find that house for her to purchase it, to use it as a home for the indigent. So there's a lot of love for Jamaica. They leave Jamaica for greener pastures, but they still want to interact with home. And hence the reason for this magazine.
Fantastic. And so therefore, O'Neill and I was talking earlier. So is it that there's a gap whereby the diaspora conferences have been going on for years, and somehow this was supposed to be one of the objectives of the diaspora conference, like to bring these things together? And would you say that it is the people now taking the bull by the horn?
Indeed. I am not sure. I have been to the Diaspora conference, several times. However, I did not see where, in as much as they were together in one forum, the minute they leave, that's it. Now, this magazine is the nucleus to keep them motivated, to keep them interested, to let them know what's happening in Jamaica. And if you notice that in the magazine, it had Jamaica in the 21st century.
Yes.
so they can see clearly what's going on in Jamaica.
So,
And aside from that, they will see also real estate, and not just real estate, but how to purchase real estate, how to protect your investment while you're living abroad, how to invest in Jamaica without moving from where you are via e-commerce.
Wow.
So you have the banks who participated in this, Jamaica National Bank, you have the Victoria Mutual Building Society. So they provide information for dissemination across the diaspora to say, if it is that you have some money, you could contact us. We will show you the way to spend that money. If you, and I mean, it's very simple. If you want a piece of land, and it doesn't matter how much money you have the National Housing Trust. They give their mortgages between 1% and 4%, and you don't need to be in Jamaica to make a contribution to the National Housing Trust to benefit from their $6.5 million.
Yeah.
You can stay wherever in the world you are and do that. You just make your contribution for a year, and then that qualifies you to buy a piece of land. And having bought that land, then you can now save towards building on it. So that when it comes to retirement age, then there are a number of persons in different countries who do not allow you to become residents of that country, and therefore you cannot invest much in there.
Yeah. Oni, do you want to come in there before I showcase the magazine? I'm going to show a slide of the magazine.
And Ms. Buchanan, this is awesome. But as you're talking about sort of the vision, and Sylbourne and I were talking about the gap, and this is one channel. You know, real estate seemed to be one aspect. But if I remember reading, you know, at the top of your magazine, it's about that integration. So can you talk to some of the other areas? So real estate is important, as you said, because it's a way for us to connect back, and I call it the motherland. So the question I have, you know, what are some of the other areas that you showcase in the magazine?
Well, we have a number of areas. We have we have Jamaica in the 21st century. We have our bridges and roads, and just the beauty and splendor of Jamaica. We have that there. We have the areas in which you could, you know, look into in order to invest in, as I said, you know, real estate. We have a poem there called Backyard.
Yeah, I saw that. I enjoyed that.
We have a number of greetings from the government, the Prime Minister, and the ministers of government, as well as the leader of the opposition. And yes, so these are the things some of the things that we have highlighted in the magazine.
What I'm gonna do now, you can see the magazine before you. Can you see it, Miss Buchanan?
No, I'm not able to see it.
I'm seeing it. It's coming through, Sylbourne.
Okay. Okay, what we're showing first is the first page. So if you got the magazine before you, I'm showing the first page now where people can see volume 1, Jamaica Dashboard magazine. And the next page you're seeing Azinel Properties International, giving people a sort of preview. I'm giving a sort of cinematic view of it. People are seeing the Backyard, the poem you did that poem, yes?
Yes, I wrote that poem.
Do you want me to say it for you? What a way of shame, me boy. Lord, let me down. Me shame you. Let me grab a chair and sit down. You want to go to the second verse?
I didn't I never knew I was going to be able to ask to say it, but you could continue with it. You can continue.
Really. I think O'Neill needs to continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great poem.
It's a great.
But you know, one of the things, Sylbourne, I want to sort of ask Ms. Buchanan, you know, obviously there's a lot of thought process that went into this magazine, the way it's structured. And this is, you know, volume 1, if that's what you're calling it. You know, can you walk us through sort of the process? How did you get here? You know, you talk about that integration, but how did you get there? Because the magazine seemed to be well put together. How did you get there? And sort of what was your inspiration?
And Miss Buchanan, before you start, just to let you know, I'm actually going through the magazine. So while you're talking, people are just seeing the magazine pages going by. So you can speak freely, okay?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not seeing it from my end.
That's
My inspiration came from that I was in New York and moving around New York and connecting with people in New York, and I found that it seemed a little lonely where the Jamaicans here, they were a little bit dissected and never had much time for anyone. And whenever I spoke with them, they did not, they were not that welcoming. And I thought to myself, what is it that I could do to integrate and unify Jamaicans because we're all one? And I just found myself writing away, and there was the magazine. No, before that, I hypothesized what could have happened, and then I carried out a research. My target market was the people that I had done real estate business with over the years. So I sent them the questions and they returned those questions, the answers. And from those answers, I produced the Jamaica Dashboard magazine. They spoke of the fact that the government, they didn't see where the government had much interest in them. And they toiled hard and long to help Jamaica and help Jamaicans. And so I thought that if I reached out to the Prime Minister to get a letter from him for the magazine, that would have been able to pacify the diaspora or the diasporians. And so I just went on. I went to the Prime Minister. In fact, he was the first person to have produced a message to the diaspora, which means he has a vested interest in them. And he knows of the importance of Jamaicans across the world and the interest they have in Jamaica as it relates to remittances, and not just remittances, but just about anything that they want in Jamaica, they get.
Okay, that's good. And if you and that's a good overview now. So we try to capture as much as possible before we get kicked out again.
Yes.
We're talking about the different hubs. You're talking about 3 tiers, 3 levels of what the magazine is seeking to fester. Can you break that down for us and for the benefit of our viewers?
Okay. One is to unite, to amalgamate the Jamaicans across the diaspora onto one platform, which is our website. And that is to connect with Jamaica through a cohesive effort to build wealth, not just in Jamaica through real estate, but we will have other great initiatives going forward. And one of them is to have a fair, a Jamaica Diaspora fair, whereby all the Jamaicans across the world who are operating their businesses will be able to come onto the platform to showcase what they do and their talents. And so if it is that you happen to be in that part of the world, you support them. For instance, I'm here in New York and I try to go to a Jamaica store, or if I want to get my nails done or my hair done or the groceries, I try to make sure that I go to a Jamaican store.
Yes.
And so, it is to open the eyes of Jamaicans to say, let us unify together. Let us help each other. Let us help a brother up and a sister up.
Yes. Okay.
So I have a follow-up to that, Ms. Buchanan. So when you, my technology head is bubbling. So when you say platform, right, I think of the Facebooks of the world, the Instagram of the world. So tell us, distribution, it seems you could get it online, right? Are you planning a copy that you're going to mail out?
Yes, we will have hard copies. So if it is that you need one, we could send that to you. And as we go along, we will have, you'd have to register and pay a subscription fee to get onto that platform.
So you need to get it now quickly.
Right. So for example, when I get on that platform, is where I can build something on the Jamaican Diaspora magazine. So for example, if I have a business in New York, I can build something on there.
Most definitely, most definitely. You would have to register. If you go on, when you go online, it says register here,
Yeah.
and that information, we will have that recorded, and whatever it is that you're interested in, we would have been able to satisfy your need based on your requirements.
Got you. And then what about if I'm in Jamaica? I get it through the website. That's how I'll get it. Or you plan to do distribution of a hard copy in Jamaica as well?
Yes, we could do distribution of hard copies across Jamaica. That was not really our thrust right now. We were planning on doing some distribution because remember now, our vision, and based on our vision and our mission, it is for the diaspora. So to distribute the magazine in Jamaica would have kind of defeated that purpose. So it is to send the magazine across Jamaica. So if you're in Botswana, and Herbie Brown, he was one of the persons who advertised for us on the various platforms, and I want to thank him very much for that. And Herbie has been living in Botswana for more than 15 years, and I'm sure he would have loved to have that as a keepsake. We have also Douglas Lays, who is the former Solicitor General for Jamaica and now head of the Green Fund, Global Green Fund in South Korea. He would have loved to have a copy, on his table at home there.
Yes.
And in Australia, we have Chrisana Beckford. Chrisana she has already ordered her magazine. So the magazine is basically for the diaspora, everyone across the diaspora.
And
so once they make a request, we will send it to them.
And as what Miss Mackenzie said, as I'm not a fan of online papers, so a hard copy would be of great benefit for her.
Yes. So you could just place your order.
So okay, we spoke about the two. You talk about bringing Jamaicans together. What's the next one? Unless I missed it along the way of the 3 levels.
It is basically to showcase Jamaica.
Yes, showcasing
what Jamaica has to offer. And a lot of Jamaicans, and as I said, this is based on research, scientific research. You have a lot of Jamaicans who are struggling overseas, and they refuse to go back home to make a better life for themselves. This magazine is to say to you, if it is that you're struggling and you cannot make ends meet, there's a better place and a safer place, and a place where you will feel more of that love and compassion. So go home, make a better life there. Right. So that's the reason why I showcased Jamaica. Look at those beautiful roads that we have now.
So what you're actually saying is that while Jamaicans are part of the investors, and while looking investors, you're also saying to people, see Jamaica as a home, as an alternative for you to be a part of.
That is correct. That is correct. A lot of persons who came here to study, and they didn't feel like they had felt like it was like the place to be. They returned home. And my daughter is one of those examples. She came here at the age of 15, attended high school. Well, she graduated high school in Kingston, Immaculate High, and then she came to the United States, finished up sixth form at Trout Rosemary Hall over in Connecticut. Yes. And then she went on to Clark University over in Massachusetts. She did her first degree and her master's degree. Then she went on to work with MIT. And she did not feel that connection with home. She just wanted to be home. In as much as she had also gone to Spain to live, and she had also gone to Botswana to live, she did not feel at peace. And so when she said, I was coming home, Mom, I thought to myself, is she making the good move or a bad move? And she said, no, Mom, I just want to be back in Jamaica. And today she is in Jamaica and she is loving it. And she's enjoying herself. She has a very good job there. And she's also a director of her company. And she's at peace.
So I guess what you say, Mrs. Buchanan, if folks are struggling, one of the things you want to show is there's an avenue to develop wealth and live a much more aspirational life in Jamaica rather than staying within whether the US or Canada and struggle.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Mind you, it is okay to go abroad and to try, because nothing beats a trial but a failure.
Mm.
But if it is that you're there and you're not making any headways, go home. And we're telling you it is okay and it is safe to go home.
Can I just bring this point up? As a magazine, it's harnessing lots of information, harnessing wealth of talents as well, if I'm not mistaken. Because would you say that you are also tapping into the professional resources of Jamaicans overseas?
Of course, indeed, indeed. And this is one of the main thrusts as well. Jamaica is a third world country.
Yeah.
And if it is that they were to release the cup from the ceiling, then go break that glass ceiling, go out into the world, source Jamaicans who are overseas, because you have brilliant Jamaicans who are across the world, and they would love to help Jamaica. But Jamaica, I would say the people in Jamaica or the government of Jamaica, they're not aware. So I am bringing this to the fore, just to say to them, for instance, we have infrastructural problems in Jamaica. Whenever it rains heavily, everywhere is flooded. But yet you have Herbert Brown, who is building out the Botswana, which is the richest country in Africa, building out Botswana, and Herbie has free time, could give some consultancy, free consultancy back to Jamaica, to the Jamaican government.
Yes. It's interesting, the point that you mentioned, and it is fundamental, because as one was being involved with the Diaspora conference from 2004, 2006, from the initial inception, there was a point where they convened, started this mapping of all the professionals.
Yes.
Do you know where that happened? What happened to that?
I don't think it went anywhere at all.
Wow.
And that's a problem. Now, I could give you another example. We have Chrisana, who is in Australia. Chrisana works with the government of Australia, doing mapping and reintegration. So in terms of the GPS that we cannot finish in Jamaica, it has been stuck at the University of the West Indies for years. Chrisana Beckford, who is doing so well in the government of Australia, helping to build their GPS.
Wow.
Now, if you were to look at Chrisana and to say, Chrisana, we're trying to do this, but we're not able to get anywhere, Chrisana would have been able to help the country for free, because that's the place of her birth.
So Ms. Buchanan, so with that, given, it's obvious 2004, 2006, and I think you're highlighted an issue. How do we collaborate better? So for example, in my profession, I deal with artificial intelligence, right? It's the future. Automation is the future, right? How do we engage with Jamaicans who are like-minded like us, the Jamaican government, in order for us to bring that impact? You talk about infrastructure. COVID, for example, has shown the digital divide in Jamaica, right? Where I read where you have some university students didn't have the bandwidth, and the government is looking to sort of fix that issue. So how do we engage in a more meaningful way? Because it seems over the last decade we have tried. So how does the magazine help in this way?
Yes, that's a very good question. Now, we intend to collect your data, collect information from you, and eventually we will put it together, streamline it, and we will ask the government to look at it.
Anil?
Yes.
We collect your data from you, we streamline the information in terms of what you do, your profession, and we will have this as a resource material for the government.
Gotcha. So you're creating sort of part of the magazine, a book. I use the term luminaries, where you could say within telecom, here are the folks who are making impact within the U.S., Canada, or Botswana, or wherever. Here's how you engage them in infrastructure building. So that's sort of your goal. Which if we could pull this off in this way, I think you could see some meaningful collaboration between the diaspora and the Jamaican government.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And I can tell you that having interacted with them, especially through, coordinating everyone for the launch, because we had 25 speakers, and we had to narrow it down to 25, but we could have had 40. That's how much the Jamaicans across the world are loving the magazine and willing to help Jamaica and willing to come together for this integration and unification and building of wealth. Yeah. So they are willing and able to help Jamaica. Jamaica has not remembered them, in other words. So we are bringing them to Jamaica to say, here is a platform.
So therefore, what we're seeing then is an extension of, I wouldn't say the government, but the world vision of the diaspora, where the government, I would say this, where the government has somewhat lapsed. The gap is there now, and you're actually picking it up. Yeah. Where the government,
I didn't hear you. Please excuse me. Could you please repeat
where the government has lapsed, you are picking it up.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. You see, I'm a Jamaican. I have been traveling all across the world, and this is a niche market. This is a need that we need to have the government looking at Jamaicans across the world. And having interacted with them over the years, I'm saying, why isn't something happening? And why is it to sit down and not help to do something about it?
Yes.
I think this is a fascinating platform. And if you could use the platform, we said, to integrate all the different pieces based on sort of your tier system, and we could mobilize in a way, we were talking about tablets, and Sylbourne had the couple on who had the raffle, right? That's a huge need in Jamaica. I mean, your platform could be somewhere where someone in the US or Canada or wherever could say, I have 200 tablets to donate. Where can I go donate? And how you make those connections.
That is it. You come on our platform, you speak to us, and we will help to, wherever you want to make that donation, we will help you to steer it into that direction, to whichever school it is, or whichever ministry you choose to donate to, then we would help you to do that, to get that done. And that is it. Jamaica really needs help right now. And just recently, back home, I am I'm a secretary in the Ministry of National Security on an initiative called the Parish Consultative Committee and the District Consultative Committee, where we're trying to, we're coalescing all of the GOs and the NGOs on one platform to see how best we could help in communities, because we have found out that the only reason how should I put it now? In order to help with crime and violence in Jamaica, we must start at the bottom where the children are. Teach the children, find out what they're doing, how they live in these communities, the parents they have around them, and we help both the parents and those children.
I'm very glad you said that, because Ms. Mackenzie earlier said, I was waiting for the opportunity to bring in this message. Only way we can help Jamaica on crime is if the same people in Jamaica start talking and telling the police where the criminals are. They are the ones who are harboring. I guess the point right there is that crime is a factor, isn't it? And crime is going to be an impediment with any work that you're doing still.
Correct.
And so the way of the magazine then, how does the magazine work towards that then?
Well, the magazine, once we get the Jamaicans across the world together and we start a conversation, then we will be able to help Jamaica.
Yes.
Because we're going to get those resources from the people in the diaspora.
Yes.
Whether it be monetary or educational.
And I guess that is why you have Mr. Rupert Francis on your panel.
That is correct. That is correct. And he's a member of our board as well.
Well, I just put his picture up there. So Rupert, so based on the launch last night, so when was it, last night? Was it last night?
It was Friday.
Friday. Rupert Francis was part of there. I've got Miss Petal, I think, as well.
Petal James
there. She was on it, and you got a raft of different persons. Miss Dunkley, Karen Dunkley as well.
Dr. Karen Dunkley, that is correct. She's a member of the Diaspora.
Right.
Petal James is head of branches at the Jamaica National Bank.
Yes. So your launch is gone now. It's over. It's done, and it's no working time.
Yes.
Awesome. So listen, Miss, time is upon us as based on the delay. But in the last word you want to say, I know someone just said a question a while ago. I don't know if it was answered. I don't know. Michelle Brown said, "Is there a cost for the magazine?"
There is no cost in New York, but there's a cost to send it to you across wherever you are in the world.
Okay, Michelle Brown, I don't know where you are. I know you said we went to school together. Good.
Yes, Michelle. I know Michelle. Michelle is in Botswana.
Where is she?
Michelle is in Botswana right now.
Oh, Michelle is in Botswana as well. Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Awesome. Oh well, so you can meet Michelle there along the way there. And
I have a last question for Ms. Buchanan, because there's a lot of folks that are probably saying, "Who's Ms. Buchanan?" And I want to ask a specific question because I did do some research. Who's Uncle Sydney, and how has he inspired you? Uncle Sydney White.
Oh, Cocktails with Doreen, Jamaica Observer. Okay, so my Uncle Sydney White, I revered him. He's still alive. He's 91 years old today. He was a successful businessman in New York, and his business was real estate. He owned a lot of properties in New York. And back in the day, as a kid in Santa Cruz, when he came to Jamaica, he would come with barrels and he would come with money. And he would always come well dressed up in scarf and all of that. And I always thought, okay, my uncle is so rich. I just want to be like him one day. And, every step of my journey, my accomplishments, I would tell him, and I would get the most accolades from him. And it just felt good. And I kept accomplishing as I went along, and today here I am. So my uncle, has been an inspiration to me, and I love him dearly. Uncle Sydney White, he's now retired and enjoying his years in Florida.
Awesome. And then what book or books have you gifted the most?
I beg your pardon?
What book or books have you gifted the most? That was an inspiration to you.
Oh Lord, so many of them.
What's the one?
The one is Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison.
Awesome book.
Yes.
O'Neill has been doing his research.
Okay. Okay. And now I'm reading Michelle Obama. Oh Lord, that's inspiring.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, O'Neill, any more questions? Because
let's figured we end on a light note so folks know who Miss Buchanan is, what inspired her. So it's good. And you left us with one book, The Invisible Man.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I'm running across the screen below Jamaica Dashboard magazine.com. That is where you can actually get the book. That is the magazine. Eventually, it will be not free. I'm hearing a feedback there, but I don't know what it is. And any last word from you, Miss Buchanan?
I just want to thank all the persons who participated in the Jamaica Desk magazine launch. I want to thank them wholeheartedly and to let them know that this is not the end. This is just the beginning. And we have a lot of things in store for them. And, just to continue to give their support to Jamaica and build wealth in Jamaica so that we can, you know, in our old days or for years to come, or even when we have passed along, that we would have made a difference in the lives of Jamaicans.
Fantastic. And I want to ask you this question. I always ask this when I was on the
Yes.
break chair before COVID came in and mashed up our life and we have to start go beyond online. I always ask this question to all of my guests is what is your favorite quote? What's your favorite words or something that inspire you that you can share to inspire new entrepreneurs, persons who to break out and step out?
I didn't hear that. My favorite
Quote. Your favorite
quote.
Yeah.
What I remember now is teamwork makes a dream work.
Okay. Okay.
That's the quote that I can remember right now.
Okay.
And which is more or less reminiscence of what we have done over the short period of time to get the launch and this magazine out. My
Fantastic.
team,
Fantastic.
a great team,
Ladies and gentlemen, teamwork makes the work work.
makes the dream work.
Makes the dream work. Teamwork
Yes.
makes the dream work. And I capture that one as well.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Ms. Buchanan today for coming on. We had some hiccup, but nothing is wrong with that. We persevere and we continue and we go through. So
Thank
I
you.
encourage you to, get the book, get the magazine, and to tap into what she's doing, because at the end of the day, it is capturing Jamaica and capturing Jamaica to Jamaicans within the diaspora all over the world. And we were grateful to be visited by Botswana. Which is awesome. I've had Kenya, I'm tapping into Africa a lot now. Kenya, South Africa, been coming on my show, and I have my Botswanian as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And we had our keynote speaker was David Jarrett,
Yes.
head of the Jamaica Global Diaspora for Africa. So he was our keynote speaker, and it was we deliberately used him because Africa is a new frontier of the world, and we have 54 countries there. And so we really needed to hear from him as to what Jamaicans were doing across Africa.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Buchanan, and we'll be in touch. And
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Have a good night and enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy the land of, I don't know, I said to Anil, I don't know if it's the land of Trump or Biden, but enjoy.
Indeed.
Peace out. Thank you.
Peace out.
Bye. Thanks. Okay, Anil, so that was a wrap there.
Yeah, that was good.